Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video I'll be explaining or giving you my experience throughout my internship period. Okay, I'm not yet done. I'm remaining with one rotation like in the hospital, and then I have one final rotation in the community. So make sure you watch till the end, especially if you are awaiting to join internship, or if you are medical student who will join internship in future, or if you are a student abroad and you want to come and do your internship in Kenya. So currently I'm doing my internship in a government facility in Kenya in Nairobi County. It's a level 5 facility. So, and in the facility that I'm doing my internship, it has like uh, four major departments, the ones that we rotate in. So we have the pediatric department, we have the medical department, we have the surgical department, and we have the reproductive health department. And now I'm going to give you my experience of what I've learned and what I've gone through in each of those departments. So let's start with the pediatric department, the rotation that I started my internship in. So it has three sub-departments: the ward, that is the pediatric ward, the newborn unit, and the pediatric outpatient department or unit. So the ward is the pediatric ward is the unit that I started with. And in the pediatric ward, they admit babies like from 28 days. That means they are no longer in unit. 28 days to 12 years of age. Those are the babies that are admitted in the pediatric ward. And I remember by the third day of my internship, I was put on a 24-hour shift. So in this 24-hour shift, you do because we got the medical officers interns and we got the clinical officers interns. So per night you have to do like two people, because you can't do by yourself, because it's really hard. We have so many babies and you can't take care of all those babies by yourself, despite having the nurses who are very experienced, by the way. So night shift, you have to do an MOI and a COI. So my first night was the first night that I've ever done a night call in my life, because even in the school that I was studying, we never had night calls. So it's my first night call, it's my first shift in my life, and it's my third day of internship. So it was really hard. And so I remember the doctor that I was with, she was not very experienced with physical work. I mean, like lab works with cannulation, those things, she was not really good at them. So I was the one who had to do those things like cannulations, lab works, of which there were too many. And I remember that day that I was on call, I had like over 7 admissions, and it was really tough. And I remember I admitted over 5 of those babies, and so by the time it was like 8 a.m. the following day, remember I've been there the whole day, I've been there the whole night, and now the following day 8 a.m. comes, and we can't leave because you have to await the major ward round. And one thing about pediatric ward in my facility, it has like so many consultants. I remember that time they were over 6, and sometimes they would come like 3 of them, because we have like a critical room over there, and we have like 5 more rooms. So the 3 consultants would do the routes in the critical room, and then they would subdivide themselves such that each consultant would have their own room of doing rotation, of doing the ward round. And so by the time this ward round ends, it would end like at around 1 p.m. Remember, you have been there throughout the day, throughout the night, and now you are forced to stay there until 1 p.m. And I remember I was so tired. I was so tired that when I came back to the house, I never even ate. The tiredness was too much. Like I could not compare the hunger with how tired I was. I preferred to sleep and wake up the following day to eat. And I'm telling you, I slept from like 2 p.m. and I was waking up the following day in the morning now when I was going to report to work. So, and the word was really tough, especially when it comes to the calls and the shift. It was really hard on me. And when we come to like other stuff, especially the nurses, the nursing assistants, those people are hands on. They are the most they are so experienced, they are very willing to work with. So, and again, there are so many, there are resources in the pediatric ward. That means you don't have to look for gloves, unlike other wards. You don't have to look for syringes. You don't have to buy a mask outside, because the ward has everything, literally everything that you need. There is BP pulse oximeter machines, everything. Like, it has resources, because the nurses are there to make sure that you don't have to look for anything. Anything that you need is at your disposal. Let's head to the NBU units, the newborn unit. So in the newborn unit, they admit babies from 1 day old, or from 0 days or hours old to like 28 days. So basically speaking, they admit the units. So the units are from maybe our facility, the mothers that have delivered in our facility, or those that have delivered outside or in other facilities that don't have a newborn unit, and now they have to be referred in our facility for admission. And now let me talk about this newborn unit, because it's the hardest, guys. It's the hardest unit that I've ever rotated in since I did my internship. That's the rotation that I lost a lot of weight. But that is weight, guys, you are seeing me is the weight that I've gained later after I was done with the pediatric rotation. So it's the department that I lost a lot of weight. It's the rotation that gave me mental breakdowns. It's a rotation that made me feel so tired and almost giving up. And here are the reasons why. So, like, in the newborn unit, we have a room called nursery A. In the nursery A, they admit these very, very tiny babies that are premature, like they are underweight. They are, yeah, most of those babies are underweight and premature. In nursery B, those babies are actually, most of them are term. They have the right weight, but you find out they have like neonatal sepsis, or they had some respiratory depression after birth, or they scored really bad in their APGAR score, and so they had to be monitored in the nursery B. And then we also add an isolation room. The isolation room is the babies that we admit from outside our facility, maybe those that the mothers give birth at home or from other facilities. So we put them in an isolation ward, because we don't know the condition of these babies, so they are put in a different room. Then we have unit called high dependency unit for those babies that are really sick, that need like very, very close monitoring. And we also add a NICU, that is a newborn ICU. So most of the time they did not, the doctors or the consultants in the newborn unit did not allow us, like interns, to rotate in the HDU and the NICU. Those rooms were specifically for the consultants and the medical officers, not medical officers interns, consultants and medical officers, and those are very, very skilled and experienced nurses. For us, our work was in nursery A, nursery B, and the isolation room. And now let's talk about how hot those rooms are. And remember, the first day I went to that ward, that NBU, I almost collapsed, because I became so dehydrated. I was sweating and I felt like the heat was too much and I'm almost collapsing. But thanks be to God, later on I adapted to the temperatures, and at least I also learned to carry lots and lots of water for frequent hydration, because the heat there, guys, the heat is there too, it's too much to handle. And now let's talk about the beeping of the CPAP machines, of those very many machines, the monitors. they're always beeping, like beep, 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 throughout, and that noise sometimes it's a bit too much. And now let's talk about the crying babies. If one baby starts to cry, the rest they just cry and cry and cry, and sometimes it's too overwhelming. You can even find yourself crying if you are not like used to that, to those noises. And then the worst part is now when it comes to sample removal, guys. Those babies, pricking those babies, it's very hard, especially for those babies that have stayed there for a long time, and not, you can't even assess any length because literally they have been pricked all everywhere, like the arms, the legs. And now you find like cannulating these babies is very hard. Removing like taking samples from these babies is very hard. These babies are crying, it's very painful, and it really hurts even for the person doing that work, like the cannulation, the sample removal, and then updating the files. Remember, these babies, day one, the fluids that they take in day one, day two, day three, day four, it's totally different. And now you have to do a lot of math each and every day. Guys, for you to become a medic, you have to be really good in maths, because the calculation that we do in NBU, it's not for the week. Not very hard, but it's a lot of calculation. Each and every day, it's a different calculation. Each and every day, it's a different calculation. And now the worst part that I hated about NBU, leaving alone the beeping of the machines and everything else, the nurses. Not all of them, but a few, like one or two nurses that were really toxic. And I thought I was the one that was toxic until everybody was complaining about these nurses, until they had to be snitched on to the consultant because they were really treating us like crap, or like they were treating us like we're not human beings. Like I don't know, I can't even explain how toxic those people were. And now I remember even asking one of the nurses, seriously, I'm really tired. I've been doing a 24-hour call. I've been here the whole day. I've been here the whole night. You just came at 9 p.m. We can't compare. You're not as tired as I am. I'm really tired, and it's really hard on me. And guys, those people, like two of those nurses, I'll never forget them. They were so rude and so toxic to any intern, whether medical officer intern, whether clinical officer intern. They were just so rude and toxic. And after I was done with that department, I said, thanks be to God, it was literally the hardest department that I've ever rotated in. Now let's go to the best department in the best unit in the pediatric department, and that's the outpatient department. So that was more of freestyling. It is the place that you have to be a little bit willing to learn. No, nobody is going to force you to learn or to work like in the wards. There it's your own initiative to learn. And that is the department that opened a lot of doors for me. Like what I mean by doors is lots of locum. If those doctors realize that you are willing to learn and you know how to do things, you're given a lot of locums. Guys, that department, it was not very tiring. You don't work as much because we are like three interns there, and of course we have other doctors that are already there, so the work is not as much. Like there are only two consultation rooms in the pediatric outpatient department, and so each room has a doctor, and of course you can't fit there all of you. Of course there are the qualified doctors and us, the interns that are there, so we can't fit in those rooms. So like we used to switch, like I come in the morning, you come in the afternoon, or you come the entire day, and me, I will be off for that day, and tomorrow I'll come the entire day. So by the end of the week, I will have worked for like 3 days, and during that time the weekends were off for the interns. So that's the department, that's the only part of the pediatric department that I got to rest. And again, because I'm really hardworking, the doctors, they realized I'm really hardworking, and they used to give me lots of locum. And life was really hard that time, so at least this money was able to support me, pay my rent, and also feed myself. So pediatric outpatient department was the best department. in the pediatric, in the entire pediatric department. Also, not forgetting that pediatric outpatient did not have night calls for the interns, so at least there were no night calls. Now let's go to the second rotation. That was my medical rotation. So medical rotation does not have so many work. Like it has only two wards, the male ward and the female ward, and also we have the clinic now. So I myself rotated in the male ward, like the entire 10 weeks I rotated in the male ward, because basically the conditions that are in the male ward are the same conditions that are in the female ward. So medical rotation was really good. It's the rotation that whereby by 1 p.m. you are in your house. You can also go do locum if you get any. So there was not much work. And again, for the night calls, it's only one person. So like if that word, if you combine the medical officers interns and the clinical officers interns, and you get like you're almost 14. It's only one person that will do a night call, not like two in the pediatric department, only one. So you, by the time your attempt comes for you to be on the night call, it's like almost 2 weeks. So it was a good rotation, honestly speaking. And if you do your night call, you're the one to present your new patient during the ward round, and no one is going to pressure you guys. Medical rotation did not have pressure, like, no, not pressure, did not have pressure until that time for signing logbooks comes. And now all the consultants in the medical department are seated down and they're like, I've never seen this one present, I've never seen this one do this, I've never seen this one do this. And I can assure you, like, a few of my colleagues were added like weeks in that department. So it's chill, but if you're not careful, you're going to be added weeks. Like, these consultants are silent killers. They won't tell you until when signing of logbooks comes. Now let's get to the third rotation, my surgical rotation. So surgical rotation has like four sub units. So we have the ward, the surgical ward, we have the minor theater, we have the major theater, and we have the clinic. And now clinic also had sub departments, like we have the ENT clinic, we have the orthopedics clinic, we have the plastics clinic, and we have the general surgery clinic. So the first place that I went was the minor theater, and I'm telling you, minor theater is the worst. Let me not call it worst. It's like the most tiring place that you are going to rotate in the surgical department, because it involves a lot of standing, it involves a lot of ambulation, it involves a lot of pressure, guys. If you don't know how to work under pressure, you can survive in minor theater, because it's an emergency. It's like a emergency department. And in Nairobi, like lots of robberies, accidents, and now we have those people, like it's ever busy, 24/7, whether day, whether night, it's ever busy. But despite all of that, it's a really good place to learn like physical skills, especially suturing. That's why I learned a lot of suturing. That's why I also learned to remove lipomas. That's why I learned to remove to do like cyst excisions. That's why I learned to do so many things. Like, if you are willing to learn, guys, minor theater is just cool. You learn so many skills that are really going to help you outside there. So I learned a lot of things, but lots of ambulation. Then the ward, not so much, there. We don't have so many patients in the ward, but most of the patients there are plastics, like those with the very chronic wounds, and also the general surgery patients, like the hernias, the IOs, and others. So the ward was not as hard. It was not very demanding, but the consultants were really hard on us, because you can't leave if 5 p.m. has not yet reached. So we just stay there hanging there around, doing totally nothing, on our phones, doing nothing until 5 p.m. reaches so that you can go home. And now the major theater, at least to get to go there at least once per week and go and observe those surgical procedures, and it was really a good learning experience. And the clinic, if I was to say the best place that you can learn a lot in the surgical department is the clinic, because those clinics are with the consultants. Like each and every day has its own day of clinic. Like on Monday you find it, maybe it will be neuro, on Tuesday it's plastics, on Wednesday maybe it's general surgery, on Thursday it's ENT. So like each and every day has its own specialty of now the clinic now. And the consultants teach a lot, they teach a lot, so you learn a lot. And again, if you are in the clinic, you get to go home early, because by 1 p.m. the clinics are over and you can go home. So the clinics are really good, very educating and really good. But now the consultants, they can be a bit intimidating, and those people, they can be a bit intimidating. I remember when I went to the surgical department, the previous team were not yet released, because the consultant had them like 6 weeks. Imagine 6 whole weeks. Like all the medical officers and interns were added 6 weeks, and these interns had to go to the medical CEO to try and redeem themselves, and at least it was reduced to 2 weeks. But still, 2 weeks is a little bit much, because their colleagues are moving forward and forward and forward. So the consultant in the surgical department can be a bit intimidating, I won't lie to you. So surgical department, it was not really bad, it was good. Yeah. Now let's talk about the reproductive health. Reproductive health has like 4 sub-departments. We have the labor ward, we have the gyne ward, like the gynecological ward, we have the postnatal, and we have the ANC. So currently I'm in the labor ward. The labor ward, it's busy, by the way, because I don't know what's happening in Nairobi County, because very few hospitals are operational right now. So you get so many patients are being referred in our facility, and of late it has been really busy, especially if you have been on night call, you can't sleep, because patients are just flowing and flowing and flowing. I've been referred, I don't know from where, I've been referred from this hospital, I've been referred from this hospital, because the doctors, there are not doctors there. So it has been really busy. But again, it's the department whereby a mother is screaming one moment in pain, and the next moment she's just so happy after delivering a very healthy baby. So it's a place that you really feel happy when you see new babies. It's a really, I don't know, it's a really good feeling. Then in the postnatal, we don't have much actually. It's the postnatal is those patients that have already delivered either through CS or spontaneous vertex delivery, and now they have to be observed before they go home. So there it's just a lot of paperwork, a lot of discharges, a lot of paperwork. So then we have the gyne ward, of course. You understand the gynecological cases, like maybe like molar pregnancies or miscarriages or cervical cancers and all other kind of cases. So it's a really good place to learn, especially in MVAs, like the manual vacuum aspiration and all other procedures and all other conditions. You get to learn a lot from there. And then we have the theater. I forgot to tell you about the theater, where you have to observe maybe CS cases, like the cesarean section cases, hysterectomies, yeah. So it is also a really good place. At least you get to go there at least once or twice per week. Or maybe if you are not busy and you want to go and pass time in the theater, you can go there and learn a lot. Honestly, guys, we don't limit us. You can go there as many times as you want, as long as you are free in the department that you are in. And then we have the the ANC now. ANC, it's just like a clinic whereby those pregnant mothers, they come and you assess them, you examine them, and if in case they need close monitoring, now you have to refer them to a doctor now. So RH does not have, it has a lot of learning. It's not bad. I can't complain. I can't complain with the team that I'm working with right now. It's literally the best. And I can't wait to finish in the next 7 weeks, in the next 6 weeks actually, so that I go to my last rotation, which is community. Yeah, community is my last rotation, and I hope it will be good. So guys, bottom line, or the take home message is, despite how things are, despite how hard things get when you start your internship, because as you have heard, some departments are really hard, some people are really hard to work with, some consultants can really give you the hardest time of your life. If it really gets hard, just get somebody to talk to, or you can just even decide to take a break. Yeah, just don't end your life, because trust me, like this, yeah, like this current team that you have, several people have ended their life because their consultant did this or this did that. Because at the end of the day, if you end your life, the hospital that you are currently rotating in, they'll just continue with their stuff as if you never existed. If you get sick, no one cares, the hospital will continue running. If you die, no one cares, the hospital will still continue running. So if it gets a little bit too hard, it's okay to just pause, take a break, and continue when you're feeling that you are in the right state of mind to continue. So don't end your lives, guys. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. The only people who are going to suffer is your family. But the hospital that you are in, they don't care. Trust me. Just move on like nothing happened. So that's it, guys. In my next video, I'll just talk about things that you should consider before choosing an internship center. Uh, I will be explaining why you should maybe choose a government facility instead of a private facility, why you should choose a level 4 instead of a level 5, or level 5 instead of a level 4, why you should choose a hospital in certain counties like in Nairobi County instead of this other county. Yeah, I'll just be talking about those things. And I hope after watching this video, you like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, and I'll be explaining those things that I've told you about. Yeah, like the part 2 of this video. Bye bye. See you in the next time.